How many times are you going to clap that thing?
Guess what's on my socks?
Cheesecakes.
No.
Paintbrushes?
No. It is a gift from a liquor company. The liquor comes in barrels from Kentucky.
What's the one that has the red wax on the top? Am I right?
This is Maker Mark socks.
There we go.
And
wait, Maker's Mark or Maker Marks?
Did I say Maker Marks? Man, not even 30 seconds into the podcast, which is called Funny in Theory. Welcome.
Hello.
This is a podcast that revolves around the shenanigans here at CHS Field in the St. Paul Saints and our on-field between inning promotions.
I can't stop staring at your socks. With your clues, I got it, but also that looks nothing like it.
No, it may have when I first got it.
You should go put your sock up to the camera.
If I stretch it.
Then it kind of looks like a paintbrush.
If it's a longer paintbrush. No,
the little short fat ones.
But, I'm not.
Not like a kid's watercolor, but like if you're going to paint the wall, you roll it, but when you're towards the sides, you... That's not the sound.
The painting, the cut.
I'm so bad at this. Not that either.
Just when you're rolling it.
Well, who are you?
I'm Joshua Will, Entertainment Director here with the St. Paul Saints.
Great, and I'm Sierra. Hi.
Hey, Sierra, how was your week?
I've gotten sleep.
Yeah?
It's been great.
Have you had a schedule for your sleep, or have you been honestly?
No, I just finally can get 7 to 8 hours instead of 5 to 6. It's awesome.
Does Puppy allow you to sleep?
Oh, yeah. He sleeps more than I do. I don't know. He's good.
Good.
Yeah. What? Last week was all the whole putting away tables and chairs, and we're not even done. We did the most that we could. So we use the bathrooms here at this ballpark as storage rooms in the winter. But until the water gets turned off in the bathrooms, we can't put anything in because the plumbers have to go in, turn the water off, I guess.
I gotcha, yeah.
But I'm not kidding. Putting this ballpark away, and even when we put everything out, it's a lot of work. But we are so bare bones thin as a staff right now that it was crazy. One of the days, I have a Apple Watch, whatever. I look at my movement and steps and all that stuff. There are some games where I hit my double move goal of the day just because worked out in the morning, the game was super busy, maybe the day leading up to the game, whatever. I almost double 2.5 my move goal one of the days because doing the sun deck, you're going up and down those stairs and we have so less people. Wow, it was exhausting.
I noticed all those chairs over in left field.
Yeah.
And so you have to move those into
bathrooms.
The bathrooms.
Yeah.
Did you guys happen to clean out the promo area with all the tables and the chairs for the players over there?
I was too tired.
I get it.
But I did move some of our promos from center field back into their rightful home.
It looked nice. I was here with Sego on Monday night, so we...
Oh, did you guys run?
We ran 6 miles, so that's...
Around the concourse?
Basically 21 times around the concourse.
Okay.
Which seems like... That doesn't seem enough.
6. I always heard... I've never tracked the steps or whatever, but I think someone did. Is it 3 laps is a mile?
Almost, yeah.
Almost,
so
okay.
A little over 3. One time around is, and I can't do this math, but it's a half a kilometer. So if a full marathon would be 40 kilometers. So you'd be running roughly 82 times around the concourse.
He's got to get ready.
And I know you've walked the concourse a lot. Have you ever run it? Have you ever run it?
Yeah, but I've never done it for a certain, I don't know.
It's weird. It's something we're planning for the spring. And so we'll talk about that when the time comes. But it's weird. We switched halfway through.
To go the other direction?
To the other direction. So you're not putting all the emphasis on one knee leaning in.
Yeah.
Those corners can kind of get to you. But what's weird is
I thought maybe it had to do with dizziness.
I'm not running that fast. It's not like a dizzy bat. It's eventual dizzy bat. But you have to change your course, believe it or not, because the way you take corners and everything, and then when you're in center field, running over those cobblestones is just murder.
I don't know what those are there for. I don't know, to wake somebody up if they're pulling a cart and they're falling asleep.
Or it's
like on the side of a road.
Or yellow chairs. We just ran out of material, so that's what was left, and they put them in. So.
Yeah, nobody wants yellow.
No, and it's, we're talking about, Sago and I were talking about this is pretty easy right now, but I'm like, everything is put away, and we're not even talking about people on the concourse right now, so we'll try that again. And the other thing is, this is a concrete concourse as opposed to like an asphalt street or path.
Oh, yeah.
So the pounding of the feet is actually a little bit harder, too.
Gotta get good shoes.
Got to get good shoes. So you and I will talk about this later to get this going. But I had a couple ideas in there. Other than that, what's been going on here at CHS Field?
Not a lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of some people take time off. Some people are in. I don't know. It's quiet. There's still stuff kind of going on, but days are a little less active.
A little less active. I will say the very last game, which was last Sunday, as soon as everyone was gone, one of my favorite things to do is put everything away in the entertainment locker room.
Okay.
So if you go down there, you'll notice that the table is gone. The chairs are gone. I have a bench flipped down. Everything's there. So when I go in, it's kind of like, it's kind of nice and quiet and peaceful in here. And sometimes if I have to come in and work, that's where I'll sit.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a nice place. But I didn't even wait for like the bodies to be cold to clean that place. Plus, it's very hard for the maintenance staff to come in and they'll clean the bathroom and the floors. But when there's everywhere, they can't do it. So that's everyone was off partying and drinking, and I'm there with a feather duster just getting
watching
everything.
the Vikings on the video board. That was fun.
They won that game, correct? And then they tanked again.
Honestly, I don't even remember.
Yeah, because they were at home for the first time. So I was watching that, and it was back and forth.
Yes.
And then I found out they won. And I can't get the Vikings game at home on TV.
Why?
I don't have cable.
Oh.
And there used to be a app on my Roku TV that gave you local channels.
Yeah.
Sports channels sued this app, so they had to take down the local free TV.
This is silly.
Yeah, and so
this is getting ridiculous. The amount of services, but it's like none of them have everything that you need like they used to. Now it's like, well, you have to like pick and choose, like what are you willing to get rid of in order to get something else?
Yeah.
And everything is so stinking expensive.
And so for the most part, I don't watch a lot of broadcast TV, but like when the Olympics come along or Vikings come along, it's like, well, that'd be really nice to watch. They now have a new, I don't know the name of the app, but it gives you local TV in any market for the local games. You get 2 week or 1 week free trial. That's how I was able to watch one game that they tanked as well.
Yeah.
$64.99 a month.
Dude, that's what I pay for YouTube TV. It's nuts.
It's insane.
It is.
And so on top of that, at home we have Disney Plus for the kids.
Yeah.
We obviously have Netflix. We've got the Amazon Prime, et cetera, et cetera.
I know.
Which are great if you're going to sit down at night and like go through here. But if you want something,
I know.
Yeah. So I listened to the game on the radio. Paul Allen's a good guy to listen to.
Yeah.
But it's not the same as, okay, let's go back and see that play, because I'm at that point now where I don't have 3 hours to sit on the couch and fall asleep during a Vikings game like I loved to do in college or like when I graduated. So now it's just kind of on in the background. Oh, what was that play? Run to the thing.
Yeah.
So
I remember the night after the Saints won the championship. So they won it on a Saturday night. Mm-hmm. Sunday, I set my alarm. Let's just say I did not leave this place very much before the sun rose that morning. Went home, set my alarm for like 11:55 because it was like a noon game. And they were playing the Packers. Somehow got out of bed to go down to watch this game. I watched the very first play, and all of a sudden I woke up and they were shaking hands.
Game
I
over.
missed the entire game. And then I feel like we've maybe talked about this, I don't know, either on or off the podcast. I started going on like social media and just see everyone taking pictures or posting pictures with the championship trophy, like ushers, entertainment team, everyone and their mom posted a picture. And I was like, I know I drank champagne out of it last night, but I don't think I ever like held it. Like, how did ushers even get it to like take pictures? And so then I came in here in the afternoon, grabbed the trophy, and did my own little photo shoot on center.
Oh, that's fantastic. It was, so getting over there was its own story.
Yeah.
And then while I was there, and it was great because diehard season ticket holders were there. The ushers were
Birch's?
there. The entertainers. Staff was over there. The players were there. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
But it also got to that point, like, I couldn't turn around with someone giving me a drink.
Yeah.
And I remember you and I talking. I'm like, I have to go.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was like, it's either going to get really bad, really stupid for me really quick.
Yeah. And that turned into when they closed, everyone came back to the ballpark and just like cleared every fridge out of any kind of beer, seltzer, White Claws, like you name it. It was all left on the field that night. And it was fun.
It was one of those, I'm glad I did what I did, but at the same time, there was a little bit of FOMO.
Yeah.
But a lot of time, the entertainers or some of the other, anyone that comes in, they'll go out to drink after. And I usually let them do it themselves.
Yeah.
Because
that's how they talk crap about you.
That's how they talk.
If you're there, then they can't get off their chest.
Well, some people have no problem talking crap to my face. But no, that's exactly it. It's like, go ahead and...
Am I one of them?
I'm looking right at you right
Yeah.
now. It's totally fine.
I'll accept it.
But the other thing is, by the time we get out of here, it's 11 o'clock at night.
I know.
And so...
I used to be able to, and now I can't.
Now I just go home and cry and drink alone in my basement. So that's what it
No, you
comes down
open
to.
a drink and then you wake up with only taking like 3 swigs from it, and you're like, dang it, I wasted a beer.
They're all shaking hands on TV now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good stuff.
So today's topic is going to be a little weird because I don't want it to be about me.
I do.
But as with everything, I kind of put a little thought into it. So I was thinking about what we talked about last week and like my goals for next year. And that's really kind of helping people, the interns or anyone, kind of come into their own and kind of explain what we want from them a little bit better, not kind of taking things on ourselves. And and you and I were texting last night, and I said, "What should the topic be today?" And you and I have always joked about the various jobs I've had since I graduated college.
They're insane.
They are. A lot of them were simply, and we'll talk about this too, is where I am in life and how why I had to do what I had to do. And luckily, it all led up to this. Until
sounds like you did this stuff so you didn't live in your car.
Well, that's most people for jobs. I'd like to have the house. But it's okay. So our entertainment team is comprised of both people who have, and forgive me for using this term, day jobs, real jobs. And I say that
9 to
because
5s.
9 to 5 jobs, I should say, the traditional jobs. Others are performers, and this is another gig.
Right.
I lived most of my pre-Saints life, post-college life, as an artist, but not someone who actually, I'll explain it.
Please do.
I like to create. I really like to be part of a troupe. I've never been one who's wanted to either, and this has nothing to do with my ability or talent or anything like that. I've never wanted to be famous. I've never wanted to be just just an actor, blah, blah, blah. I love creation. I love working with people. I've always been a troupe person. And so being here and working with everyone, that's an absolute dream. But it took 25 years, to get here, because who would think a position like mine
You're only 25 years old.
even exists? 25 years old, from the womb, I thought to myself.
Right away.
Yeah.
You shot out and you're like, I really want to work.
I want to work for the St. Paul Saints that aren't even around yet.
Yeah, but I know it's coming.
I know
I
it's
feel
coming.
this itch of fun in my toe.
So the things I have to do until then, just to maintain and not live in my car, have to happen. We joke around, but it's a very serious thing that, like the baseball players, like anyone here, we could be replaced. That's the way it is in any job.
Right.
As no matter how special we feel we are.
Right.
It's just like, unfortunately, if you were to go, it'd be very difficult to fill your position, but we would teach people, and that's...
You can't teach this sass, though.
You can't. No, that's sass comes natural. And what's very funny too is I was thinking, God, there's that phrase again. What's really funny? If you and I were to write down our responsibilities
I don't think
for a job posting, there's no way.
Because mine is,
Yours
for sure.
specifically.
But mine is like, it says marketing and promotions, but it's everything.
Yeah.
Everything that goes on here, I at least have a little bit of pinky in. But that's a lot of everyone who works here. They all have their titles, but everyone kind of like, they have their pinky in promotions too. So it's...
And we've all talked about that before too, where we all have our specific duties, but they all kind of intermingle when it comes to the game, and everything kind of gets done. But there'll be a little, you need a little help here, let me take care of that here, or what needs to be done right now because we didn't know this was going to come up. I always say to the interns, reach out to me on LinkedIn. We're more than happy to help.
Are we even connected on LinkedIn?
We are, yes.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And I used yours to create kind of my bio. So I just took off.
I haven't updated that in so long.
Just to see what's there.
Okay.
It's not something that I use. It's something that I should have, apparently. And if anyone were to ask me to do something with it, I'd be like, I just have it because I'm supposed to have it. So if an intern were to actually reach out to me for something, it's like, I don't know what you want.
Yeah.
I don't do the daily, hey, this is what's going on. Hey, congratulate me for 5 years of still being alive. Stuff like that.
At a job.
Mm-hmm. But my brother my youngest brother was on me. He's like, you're not updating this thing. You're not playing the game. And I'm really awful at quote unquote playing the game with anything. I just want, I'll explain that too. Like, I'm not really good at the butt kissing or the making sure you're paying attention to what I'm doing or do I want to advance the ladder?
Making sure people are aware of every single step you take.
Exactly. And then and it's very funny as we go through this. There's some great examples of that. But my brother was like, you really kind of need to update this. You have that you're the entertainment director, but you don't put, for example, a Twins AAA affiliate on there. I'm like, well, why would I? He's like, because that's a keyword. People see that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I'm like, that totally makes sense. So I spent a day updating it. And I said, well, here's the thing. I'm not really looking to go anyplace else. I mean, this is what I want to do until, I can't do it anymore. He goes, that's not up to you. And I was like, holy cow, you're absolutely right. You have no idea what's going to happen at any given moment. It's a harsh truth.
That is.
But I was like, dang. You're right, I guess and which is now going back to when I was talking about not wanting to be an artist, what is very difficult for me, and kudos to anyone who does this, it was so difficult to say, be in a play or to do something and look for work while you're doing it because you only have a 3-week run or 6-month run and this is what it's going to be.
Right.
And so this secular, I'm working, but I also need to keep working isn't my lifestyle. That to me has always been really hard.
All right. Well, let's talk about some of these part-time jobs you had.
Okay. So
we've established Pepsi.
For
a day.
Timeline here.
Okay, let's timeline it. This looks... He also spilled coffee all over this, if you can tell.
I was multitasking, trying to open a gate. Did one of these things, and there were people outside, and I went, oh, fudge. We live across the street from a park, and I was so bad.
Did you say
fudge?
D-G-E or C-K?
No, G-E.
Really? Good for you. Good edit.
Under my breath, I was like...
You sound like Home Alone.
I was a paper boy. That was my first job.
Really?
Straight up.
With a bicycle?
Sometimes a bicycle, sometimes walking 5 o'clock in the morning, going to a shed, folding papers, putting them in the bag. This was the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, and then walking my routes before going to high school in the morning.
Side note, this is just making me think of it. There's a paper boy in my neighborhood in Woodbury, but he drives. And for the longest time, I thought this guy, because it's a very loud, like, street racing type car. So if you can picture in your head, but it looks terrible. It just, it doesn't look like the Fast and the Furious, but it sounds like it. Okay. And for the longest time, like I'd be walking in the morning and you just hear this car and it's going up and down streets, but it keeps going up and down and like backing out. And like, I thought he was,
so he would like
I thought he was
to
stunning.
The next...
I did. And I was like, this guy is being so unsafe in this neighborhood. And like, if he's trying to get my attention, it's working, but not in a good way. And then I finally figured it out. Like maybe a month ago, I was like, I bet he's delivering papers. Oh, all right.
Did you get up and creep on him? Like look through the blinds? Or
well, normally I hear him during walks, but I can hear him from inside, but it's just like, yeah, I couldn't understand why he would, because I live in a townhome complex, but like you go into the street, but you can't get out. So and he'd back out. He'd back out. And I was like, this is so unsafe. Are you trying? Yeah, it was weird. Plus, it's like early in the morning, like 5:30.
Yep.
And so I just woke up. My brain assumes the worst about, things like that.
Yeah.
So
do you think he went to bed the night before, or is this the last thing he does before he crashes?
I can't judge, but if I'm going to judge, I'm going to guess he definitely does not go to bed before.
I don't think, do you get the paper?
No.
That's
hilarious.
That's I don't. The paper boy, I think, has kind of gone the way of the dodo. But I was one of the last ones. But it was, even if it was 20 below in winter,
okay,
I had to get up, walk 4 blocks, and blah blah blah. And then it was high school. I pretty much forgotten my freshman year. I'm just going to block that entire thing out. Then I got a job.
Is that when you got your growth spurt?
I'm still waiting for that. Dairy Queen. I worked at Dairy Queen for 6 years.
Okay.
If I could still work at Dairy Queen and feed the family, I would.
Did they make you, with the blizzards back then, even have to tip it upside down to prove to people?
This is how old I am. The blizzards had just come out.
Ooh.
So we made them with breakfast cereal. You would have like a Lucky Charms or a Golden Grams, because that was their...
Okay.
It was just... If you think about it, it's Dairy Queen is actually iced milk, not ice cream. And so you've got milk and what is it? That only lasted for about a year.
Okay.
And we didn't have these crazy flavors.
Right.
That was
Girl Scout mint cookie.
Nope. You got a Snickers. You got an M&M, and it was great because when they came in boxes, and everything was chopped up for you. So you just handfuls.
Okay. So what did you have to do when you were there then? If blizzards weren't really dip the ice cream cones?
Oh, everything. So we would make malts, shakes, banana splits. We had the Mr. Misties. They had, we only served this, I love this story. We had, back then it was known as a brazier, not the, what do they call them? The Dairy Queen something now.
I have no idea.
But brazier meant that you had food at that time. And so people would come in, and we only had hot dogs, chili dogs, Polishes, and then something called a chip beef sandwich that would just come in a pot, and you would put it on there. It was great. It was good back then. Right now, I don't think I could do it. But people would come in and say, "Okay, can I get a cheeseburger?" Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have cheeseburgers. All right, well, just a hamburger. It's like, dude, we have the cheese, we just don't have the grill. And people getting bad at that. But no, we didn't have to do the upside down thing. We were in between 3. City park, so it was always baseball teams coming in, and I made a whopping $5.15 an hour.
You darn tootin' you did.
Man, I was straight up just
that's literally how much your banana milk thing cost.
Yes. So 1 hour of Dairy Queen in 1989 would be the 500.
They have Mr. Misty's back then. Yep. I haven't been to a Dairy Queen in so long, but I remember as a kid, that's what my parents would allow me and my brother to get. Yeah. Mr. Misty.
Not only did we have Mr. Misty's, we had flavors that don't exist anymore. We had 30 flavors of We had banana.
Gross. Really?
We had something called burgundy.
What? That's a color.
It is, but it was my favorite. You'll never find it again.
What would that be? Like plum or like raspberry or something?
No, it was just kind of sugary tart, which was my nickname in high school.
Dang it, you beat me to it.
Did you do it? We had straight up mint julep, Mr. Misty's. We had blue raspberry, red raspberry, and just all these. And they were.
Was there bourbon in the mint julep?
Nope. It's just it actually tasted like window cleaner to me.
Gross.
And my favorite, and this sounds really weird, but you can still ask for it, is get a Coca-Cola Mr. Misty.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, they have that now at like gas stations. It's not the same.
No, those are like ices. This is the way you make a Mr. Misty is there's a machine that just makes the ice.
Yep.
And you basically mix 10 pounds of sugar, so you'll pour a sugar bag into a 1 gallon or maybe a 5 gallon bucket, and you throw it in there. It's just, it's all sugar water.
Yeah.
And then with a little bit of flavoring. So
yeah.
So it's very sweet. Then you have Coke with that. It was a little tart, and I kind of love that. And
good clean pennies.
Yeah. But then Mr. Misty's became Arctic Freezes, if you remember that.
I don't.
They changed the name, which drove me nuts, because I would still go to my local Dairy Queen and ask for a Coke Misty, and they'd be like, what?
Uh-huh.
Listen, when I was your age. Now they're just back to Misty's.
Okay. So, yeah, I haven't been in a very long time.
Yeah, so that was a summer job, and I would work 5 to 10, 5 to 11 during the summers, and then go to college. And we don't need to go through all this stuff. But so here's the thing.
You worked at McDonald's too?
Oh, my freshman year of college, we had J-term. So I was
big fast food guy, huh?
No, I didn't want this at all. Didn't want this at all. But we had J-term, and I wasn't staying at college my freshman years, and my dad did not want me just sitting at home for a month.
Okay.
So it's like, you have to get a job. Go out and put some resumes in.
Okay.
And I went to, and this McDonald's doesn't exist anymore, but it's Centennial Lakes out in Bloomington by 494 in France. Went out there, and I went to one as far away from possible that they would never hire me.
Yeah.
And I filled it out, and I honestly, like, half-assed it. I didn't really put anything, and I handed it in. They're like, well, let's just do an interview right now. I'm like, no. And they hired me on the spot. I'm like, God, now I've got this job I don't want whatsoever. And I was like, I can really only work mornings. They're great. We need breakfast people. I'm like, well, let's get this out of the way of the day. Again, getting up at 5 a.m. to get everything ready. And it turned out to be kind of a really cool job because no one was there in the morning. It was just me making breakfast sandwiches.
Okay.
Which was a lot of fun, except for the fact that I was at McDonald's at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But then I had to be there till lunch shift. So all the older people started to come in, or all the people who weren't in high school or college just needed their day job. And that was hated every moment of that. So I was like, I can put up with this for 3 weeks. Then I went back for Easter break because my dad was like, go back. And people would call me after that, like, hey, Josh. I'm like, I have no idea these people are. I was like, I can't work Friday. Can you? I'm like, no, I don't work there. I've used you people. The only really good story there is if the burger or whatever is sitting for a half hour, then they get rid of it. They just throw it in this big bucket.
Okay.
This is 19-year-old brain. If there was an employee discount, it was like 10%. So I would just grab a burger out of there because I knew they had been sitting up there. And I'd go eat in the break room. And I got caught. But they weren't mad at me for taking the food. They were mad at me because that's what they use at the end of the day to count where they should be in terms of productivity and what they sold. So they would actually take all this food out and then count what was left. And I was throwing their count way off.
By 1 or 2.
By 1 or 2. Yeah.
And it was, of course.
And what I love is that they're now closed. So it's my fault that their 1 or 2 burgers that I took has shut this place down.
Wow. So, good for you.
So
you single-handedly have shut down a McDonald's.
So, all-American kid. I had a paper route, and I worked at McDonald's.
And Dairy Queen.
And
so far, we are 0 in common.
What were some of your jobs right out of like high school and stuff?
I've always worked in restaurants or sports camps. That's it.
Okay.
Woman of few words on that one.
Okay. I loved college, and I was more interested in kind of my college experience rather than thinking, what am I going to do when I get out of college? And so, like, there was kind of...
What did you get a degree in?
This is mass communications. Real broad stroke.
Did you...
Where are you going with this?
You're a great communicator, Josh.
I'm a great communicator. Theater emphasis. And then I had an English writing minor. And but I got really interested in I did a lot of theater while I was there. I worked in the scene shop as part of work study, so that was my college job. So creating putting together sets and working with pretty much everything. But immediately after college, it was very funny. There's that phrase again. The college professor came up to me. Are you just shaking your head?
No, you're on a roll right now.
I'm on a roll. I
must be butter.
I wanted a college professor, and I was, for lack of a better term, I was kind of by the time I was a senior, big fish in a pond. I've been doing a lot of writing, a lot of directing, a lot of my own projects, and
something I would never describe you as a big fish.
Well, this is a metaphorical fish. This is not. I was never a literal big fish.
Okay, great. Cool.
But and so I kind of had an ego on me by that point. I had won the college Emmy, and I thought, I'm going to go out, and my only really goal in life was to work at Dudley Riggs Brave New Workshop in Minneapolis.
Okay.
It was just that and comedy sports at the time. For creativity. I was like, I'm going to go there, work there for a couple years, and then figure out what would be the best career path. That was, to me, my graduate school in all things. But I had a professor say, I want you to know 2 things, Josh. We've enjoyed your time here. And she actually called me Big Fish, Little Pond. That's where it came from. And she said, you're never going to get anywhere on talent alone. And you're not going to get into Dudley Riggs. without somebody dying. And it was like, I remember at the time being like, no, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
And so I actually got into Dudley Riggs within 6 months.
Good.
And I was really happy about that.
Did you make sure she knew?
She knows.
Okay.
She knows. But this was her still being a professor. And it was really, but the other thing she said is, you got to make contacts. And I'm like, well,
networking.
I'm going to, and this goes back to LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, still have to kind of play that game to this day. I worked at Video Update and Mr. Movies until I got into it. And my goal was to be there for 3 years. Well, Dudley Riggs, the man who started it, sold the theater. So everything that I had worked up for now I had to redo it. Mm-hmm. And just, there was no meshing. This is a whole different community. The new owner had his friends and et cetera, et cetera. And no matter what I did, I felt I couldn't reach that status. I even brought a show over to Scotland for the Fringe Festival. I produced it myself, organized this, and this is way before even things like internet. We'd have to do calls and things like letters, and
the World Wide Web.
Yes, if I was on the web when we were in Scotland, I would have to go to an internet cafe. So I'm arranging housing and blah blah blah, and I was like, I couldn't even get someone to notice that at the time.
Yeah.
And that, unfortunately, that's the way it is. Some people are going to be like, absolutely, that's great. Others are going to be like, fine. You can't make somebody kind of pay attention to you.
Right.
And so after that, I still continued to do theater, but I left. And I was really kind of disillusioned at that point. It's like, I had kind of put all my eggs in one basket. Mm-hmm. I didn't network. I didn't really make those connections. I didn't play the game. And the talent was great, but didn't get anywhere on talent alone. So it's like, oh, what am I going to do now?
So what did you do, Josh?
I worked for, when you get those catalogs in the mail for like educational toys or school supplies. And this was an educational toy company. So it's not like you're opening it up and it's like, hey, this is going to be a fun game. It's like, you can learn while you're having fun.
Okay.
And I worked there for 1.5 years, and it was honestly the most miserable 1.5 years of my life, trying to figure out what am I going to do.
What did you
I sat at a desk.
Did you play with the toys?
Were you like
Buddy the Elf?
I don't really care to learn about the 50 presidents right now. Yeah, clink. 1.5 years. I would escape at lunch. I wouldn't eat in the lunchroom just to get out of there, and that was all fast food. So it was the heaviest I was ever in my life. And then one day I was just like, I can't.
Back then, what would your fast food of choice be?
It was whatever was around. So it was a McDonald's. That was a lot, and there was a Subway. You could go to a cafe, but you would have to worry that you didn't have 45 minutes to get back.
Right. Subway used to be the healthy option.
Yes.
Back then.
Somebody, convincing you to eat a loaf of bread for lunch.
Very, very processed meat.
Every once in a while, I'll still get one.
Sub?
Yeah.
I don't mind Subway. It's not where
But I don't ever get a half. It's still a whole, and I'll eat an entire thing and think,
good for you.
I really should have saved.
You have a roaring metabolism.
Oh, it used to be so much better. It used to be so much better. And that's when I got into, so I would still continue to do theater. I would still write my own things to kind of create. But that's when I got into promos. Pepsi Cola promos. So the first one we worked on was, we've talked about this, Microsoft TV. We drove a semi around and then would just set it up and show people, hey, look what you can watch whenever you want to. DirecTV, pause live TV, back when that was a thing. Fruitworks.
I don't know what that is.
That was a Pepsi product that was, here's your orange lime, here's your raspberry lime. It was just soda that made it sound like it was healthy.
Fruit?
Didn't last at all.
Great.
Old Navy was one of ours. Do you remember when you would see Old Navy every 4th of July? You would see Old Navy shirts.
Yeah.
And their goal was to associate, when people thought of 4th of July, Old Navy.
I don't know if it worked, but...
No, but...
I think what people associate with Old Navy was they always had the cheapest flip-flops.
Yeah. And they put us in Old Navy, the khakis, the polo shirt, and the flip-flops. That was what we wore.
Okay.
Orbit gum.
I do remember that. That's the whole thing. That is.
I think it is, but they had us dress up as scientists walking the downtown skyways.
If you were a scientist, what would be your area of expertise? Or what would you want it to be?
What would be my area of expertise? Okay, I was gonna say, that's a doctor thing. What would yours be?
Like a scientist? I don't know. You can make something up too.
You know how you see like GNC or some of these things, like these fat melting pills?
Yeah, fat burners
Something that's actually that doesn't involve caffeine and your metabolism feeling like you're about to explode when you take them.
Yeah, I think this would be wow.
Oh, this is a funny story. I didn't even think about this until. But you were going to say
nothing. I was just going to say I think if I was a scientist, I'd want to be on the nutrition side. I just find it fascinating to learn.
Yeah, I think that
about how the body uses carbs, proteins, fats, all of that.
So I worked for Pepsi Cola for one day.
I remember that.
And these were you get into a semi, you go into a Cub Foods now it's just Cub, at 5 a.m. to stock the shelves, which involves a lot of counting. And on my first day, so I went through training there.
Is this your funny story?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And it involves fat burning pills.
I thought it was going to involve crime.
Nope.
That's the Winnebago.
That's the Winnebago, which I still have to tell you about, but not ever here.
That's your safe word. Mine is pineapples. Yours is Winnebago.
No, that'll actually send me into a panic. So we went to this Cub way down in Burnsville at 5 a.m. And the whole time the guy's talking you can put in 9 hours a day. By the end of 8 months, you've already accumulated this and you can go on your 2-week vacation. I was like, that doesn't sound like a life to me at all. I don't want to work extra things so I get 2 weeks off. Yeah. I'm not used to this. And I went home and I never went back. But
you didn't even quit?
No, I never even.
You ghosted?
Mm-hmm.
Josh? Ugh.
Straight up. And apparently they're used to that. There was and I just got an email we saw that you didn't work out, but you chosen not to be with us. It's yep, I have chosen that. And they paid me for the training, which was good. I have only quit 2 jobs in my life. One was, it was a company called Eufy, and it was in River Falls, Wisconsin, where I went to college. And they were the people who would call you when people had landlines and to take surveys. Mm-hmm. But this was all for farmers. So they were dealing with, and they give you a script, and we're dealing with fertilizers, and we're dealing with different things you can put into the soil. And I would call somebody, and I would say to them, "Hi, this is Josh from blah, blah, blah. Do you ever have problems with boll weevils?" Nope.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, and that's exactly what he said. He goes, "Do you not have problems with them?" I'm like, "Sir, I don't even know what a boll weevil is." And apparently, it's a little bug that can eat plants.
Oh.
And so I'd have to say, "Do you want to take a survey? If you do, then we're gonna have a larger one coming up about." And half hour into it, I just walked over to the supervisor. I was like, "Sorry, this isn't for me."
Yeah. Wow.
And he goes, "Nope." He let me go, and I just quit in the middle of a shift. The other one was a girlfriend had hooked me up with. They would go into the Mall of America at night with little what do you call those?
I have no idea what you're doing with your hand.
Laser gun, but you would scan something with it. What is it? A scanner.
Sure.
And you would have to count the inventory that was left. 1 earring, 2 earring, 3 earring, 500 earrings. Open up the box, and I was just in the middle of that. I'm like, nope, I'm not. This is not a career choice.
Wow.
For me.
Great.
And so that's another one where I left right in the middle of that. I'm not going to go through all these things, except for Dole. I worked for Dole Juice, fruit juice.
Doing what?
As promotions. They gave me a giant van that had the wraparound stickers on it.
Okay.
And so if you imagine a house in South Minneapolis with a big fruity van outside and 2 fruity Corvettes. So we would go to gas stations all around the city and give people fruit juice, but it was thick.
Ew.
You know, kind of like a V8 type thing, and we would pour them into paper cups. And if you don't like bees, then this was not the job for you.
Wow.
Because it's lukewarm fruit drinks.
Yeah, did people tell you, no thank you?
Oh, all the time. But this was you have to get rid of 200 bottles a day. But we're going to send you down to a Shakopee bus stop, or a truck stop. And so they're like, and then I would, and it's all micromanaged. You'd have someone from Pepsi Cola down in Eagan telling someone in Chicago who's running this, telling me to do this.
Okay.
And I just have to give them the numbers. So I gave them the numbers, and I had so much fruit juice in my basement, it was insane. Then I got married.
Wow.
And then I had kids. And then I was a waiter at Sushi Tango.
That's when you were a Sushi Tango. Oh, so I've been there.
Yeah.
The one in Uptown?
The one in Uptown.
Oh.
So I was there for 10 years. When I first started, we were only one of two, just like Dudley Riggs, sushi restaurants in Uptown. It was us and then Fujiya.
Yep.
And if you
Been to that one too.
Yeah, and if you go anywhere, there's a sushi restaurant everywhere in the Twin Cities right now. And it was all those. But we were small. We were a small restaurant. We would only be open from 5 to 10 p.m. You know, anyone who came in, two people, their meal would be $100 easily.
Right.
So you just do that and you walk away with great tips. Since then, they've grown to almost like a nightclub. They're open to 2 a.m. It's almost always happy hour.
Wow.
And by the end of it,
I've been there in a long time.
I would walk out with maybe an 8-hour shift, $40 worth of tips. But it was also became one of those jobs, and it's a great place. It just wasn't for me at the end. I was only doing one shift a week, and it was on Monday night. And by Thursday, I was getting like upset that it was only 4 more days until I had to go back to work. Now, the reason I want to explain why I did what I did, maybe for my own benefit and not for the 4 people listening, is by this point we had kids. And if I went to go work corporate, or if I were to have a full-time job, we would have to put my son and then eventually my 3 kids into daycare.
Right.
So everything that I made would go directly towards daycare.
Right.
So it was easier for me to be a stay-at-home dad, and my wife is a hairdresser, and she was doing very well, and we balanced it out that way. And that's when I became, that's when I said, I've got to start learning the game. And so there's so many times in the creative acting theater community where someone's like, hey, I'm doing a show, do you want to be in it? There's no pay. Or we're doing a commercial, you know, it's only a couple, and it's like, and again, not something for me. So I had someone reach out and they said, we're making a movie. You know, a friend of mine said, do you want, you know, this would be a good guy to be in it. And it was a little film called The Man Who Couldn't Stop Eating Cake. I'm like, absolutely. I want you to do me a favor though. I'm actually a writer. Bring me in just to meet with people. I know you're not, you know, there's no jobs or whatever. And so suddenly I started copywriting for them. It was like, now I know how to do this. And what I would copyright was things Medtronic, a lot of medical videos for heart transplant meshes or stents that would go into the veins or whatever, because I have the ability, and if you were to ask me what's my greatest in an interview, is to tell a story. So you're going to give me 30 pages of information. I can put it into a 30-second script. And that's what they needed. So I worked that for years while my kids were there, and I just go to this typing on a computer. Okay. Which, oh, by the way, now I don't angry type like this anymore. Now it's all thumbs because I realize that's how the kids do it these days. Yes. But then it was scripts upon scripts upon scripts, and that's how I did it. And I would learn to meet people, and this is my lesson for today for anyone listening. If there are any interns, it's that how important that networking is. It took me a long time to do it. The talent thing, and not to pat myself on the back, but I always kind of did. Oh, there was one instant where I tried to do. So I did theater all the way up until. I think you just started 3 sentences and didn't finish it. Yeah, I'm trying to follow this, and like I said, maybe this is for my own benefit. There was a period where I didn't do any theater. Okay. I didn't do it there. I tried to do stand-up, and I realized how much I hated stand-up, because normally it would be like a Grumpy's Bar on Washington Avenue at 10 o'clock at night. You know, I have a kid at home at this point. I'm going to be a little saucy here and say, I'm used to people clapping for me. I'm used to having audiences. Yeah. I don't want 5 other comics waiting for their turn to come up and judging me. So I was like, I just don't like this. But I won a contest, a stand-up contest. They brought me out to L.A. I did stand-up at the Music Box Theater in L.A. during a Mad TV live taping. I looked up, there were 1,500 people. I do my gig. It goes very well. And I thought to myself, I'm never going to replicate this. Let's just end this on a high note. And I've never done it since. Wow, good for you. So that was cool. So didn't do anything since then. Came to a Saints game years later. Where you got a bat and you don't know who gave it to you. I found the bat. Did you find a name on it? There's no name on it. But yeah. Oh, this is okay. Do you know how, if you ever go onto like Google Pictures or any type of app, it'll say, here's your memory from 2000. Yesterday it came up and it was us at the Twins game behind the dugout and the camera well. That exact game where that.
Oh.
And I was looking at the cameraman and none of them looked familiar.
Wow, bummer.
I was going to send them to you, but I was like, she doesn't want to hear from me at 9:30.
Yeah. I was probably sleeping.
But I came to a Saints game, and Brian Kelly was there, and he knew what I did, and he had seen everything on a parallel thing, and said, "This sounds like something that's very good for you."
Yeah. And
so there was kind of that in the back of my head, like, as long as you keep doing the best that you can, and you're friendly with someone, this all kind of works out, which I thought was made me very happy. But I did what I did, all these silly little jobs, because it either allowed me to do my passion, which was actually creating shows, being with people, or for family, and not the best times of my life, but it all kind of led up to something.
Right.
I don't know if this is an interesting podcast to anybody.
I think it's very interesting.
But I like that. Let me look at my...
Let them look, ladies and
that.
gentlemen. Let them look.
I haven't done a show since 2018. I used to do one every year, but we have the movie out right now, which is kind of fun. The many hats. Here's another lesson. I always used to tell people, and I've said this to you before.
Teach me.
I apologize. I always used to be very proud of the fact that I could write and direct and perform and produce, and I could build sets and stuff like that. And someone was like, no one wants, a jack of all trades. If you're applying for a job, they're like, it doesn't sound like you're, and this is anyone interviewing.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like you're really passionate about anything. Like, it's like you can do this, but it just sounds like you're going to work because you want to work rather than you want to work, or this is where you want to go. I've always been very impressed that you said, I want to somehow be involved in sports. I didn't get the Twins, so I'm going to go to the Saints. Boom, you were done. That was fantastic. There's that word again. I wanted to create, and so I had to decide what I wanted to do. And the minute I said, I want to write scripts, that's when everything kind of happened, rather than saying, I still act, I still do all that, but it's just kind of, if someone asks me, or it's just kind of for fun. But it was like, no, this is what I specifically do. I write scripts. And then that's when I found, the work came. What was really weird for my family is, even though I survived, even though I did all these things, I wasn't living in a car. People would say, what do you do? Well, I act, I write, I direct, I produce. Like, what do you do for the day job?
That is your day job.
What do I do for the Saints? I do a little writing, I do a little acting, I do a little performing, I do a little organization. But I have a title.
You do.
Entertainment director. Boom, that's the end. There's no more conversation about that. And it's really weird how important those titles can be as well.
I know. Do you I don't know where I was going with my thought. I lost it. I keep getting a notification about fantasy football, which I am 4-0 at the moment, by the way. The only person in first place in our Saints League. Come at me.
When can I join the Saints League? I have been without a fantasy football.
I know. If people drop out, and now it's like, it's supposed to be Saints employees, but a lot of it is former Saints employees who are still in it, like Tyson and Zach in Hudson Valley.
Get rid
still
of them.
Play. I know.
Well, it's actually a nice
Jordan. You say get rid of Jordan too then?
Give me your keys.
Yeah.
You're done with fantasy football. No, I was on one for years, and my brother had one on a day I couldn't be present for the draft.
That happened to me before. I had an auto draft 1 year.
I hate that.
I think Jordan, Kelly, and I were driving back from, I want to say, Kansas City, the year that they did not make the playoffs. Maybe that was 17.
17.
And the service was absolute piss. So, like, I had to auto draft the entire thing. And I don't take it that seriously. So I wasn't, like, mad, but I was annoyed. Like, dang it. Like,
do you have to pay for trades?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. People always try to trade me, and I never take it. I like my team. I always stand behind my team.
I do too.
So,
and this year I would have been. It's like, because I always like to get a couple of Vikings on there, just so when I'm watching the Vikings game.
So you can actually cheer.
Yeah, as opposed, and I hate when you're watching a Vikings game, you're like, well, I need so-and-so to do well against the Vikings today. So if you could just do really well but still lose.
Yes. Yeah. That'd be great.
But yeah, I got kicked off and I've not done one since.
Kicked off.
Just the
Your
NCAA
own blood.
bracket we do. Oh yeah, it was merciless too. Do you guys draft in person or online kind of at home?
We do it online, but usually it's during a work day where we're all here.
Okay.
But there's not really smack talk or anything. It's just...
Yeah, I don't like the live auction drafts. I don't like sitting around. It's very fun to have here's your screen for your picks, and I need another screen to say, okay, we're in the 4th round right now. Who would be? I need to do last minute research, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so I don't even do that.
I'm not so hardcore that when I go in, I've done the 3 practice drafts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's also a way to pay attention to the NFL as well around the league. Because if you ever tried fantasy baseball?
No.
You have to put in a
lot of work.
That's
a daily thing.
Yeah. So I did that one year, and it was just
thanks.
And not only that, but like pitchers, you're gonna have the saving pitcher, you're gonna have the in between, not the relief pitcher, but what's it called when you have the starting pitcher, relief pitcher, and then there's someone who's brought in just for an inning.
Isn't that like the setup guy or something?
Something like that. You can get stats for that, and by that point, I'm like, this is just
that's a
way
lot.
too much. But fantasy golf makes no sense to me. I know there's fantasy hockey.
I've never done that or that.
No, it's still not going to.
The only things I do are this, and sometimes we'll do the college bowl pick'em games. Mm-hmm. So like, you'll circle who you think's going to win, and then you rank your pickings. So if you're correct and you put a 30 next to it, you get 30 points. That's kind of fun.
Cool. We do Final Four,
and then we do the tournament as well, NCAA.
See, I was never a big college sports person. I'm still not. So it's like
I am.
You know that they're there, and you do very well every year. And I kind of do. You're actually very hit or miss because
because I always try to pick a team that not many people are going to pick that somewhat still kind of have a chance. Mm-hmm. That way, I might. If I try to go pick for pick with people, I'm never going to win. I guarantee that. So it's got to be, I got to have that one, what's that, advantage.
Yeah.
If it comes down to it. Sometimes, actually a lot of times it's like not worked fully, but they've taken me further to potentially win.
Yeah.
I haven't won since 2015 though, which was the best year. It was when Duke beat Wisconsin, and I'm a big Duke fan, and it made me win that. Duke beat Wisconsin, not a Wisconsin person. I was a Gopher, so I do not like the Badgers. It was so great. And this is Coach K's last year. It's going to be rough.
Right. Zach won this year after leaving us, and he had almost a perfect pick, which was very funny. It's like, way to go, Zach.
See you, buddy. Bye. I beat him in fantasy football, so he actually does do research. So that one, I think it was, I don't know why we're talking about this right now. This is so dumb. But on a Monday, I still had 2 people left to play. He had nobody. He had 145 points. I had 100. My 2 people got me 46 points, and I was like, suck it, Zach. And I didn't even know that I won. Jordan had texted me like after it happened, like, hey, you just beat Zach. And I I found out from Jordan, not that. And I was like, yes.
You ever had that where you're down by like 100 points and you're just like, you don't pay attention to it, and like Monday morning, you're like, what the heck? What happened? Yeah. You ever have like a really good win story?
In fantasy?
Yeah. I have one, so that's what made me think of
Probably not, just probably the Zach one.
I was tied with someone, and it was a Monday night football game, and the quarterback took a knee for his team, and that meant he had 2 negative yards or 3 Yegative Nards, and he went down 1 point.
Yegative Nards.
Yegative Nards. Negative yards. And I ended up winning.
Sorry. Yegative Nards. Your nickname.
For the rest of my life, unfortunately.
When you worked at Menards.
Okay, here's our Will You Bail for today.
Okay.
It was supposed to be a surprise.
I don't get to see what it looks like. Well, how many am I having?
I don't know.
I want one. I don't know what it is.
Hands were like this. I had no idea. Okay, these are Jelly Bellies, so can be booger flavors.
This smells bad.
Or there can be vomit flavors.
It smells like soap.
Hold on.
Have you ever watched our Bean Boozled?
God, that's awful. Yes.
This is what this reminds me of.
This is straight from the Newark airport, by the way, so this is quality stuff.
Dang it.
You ready?
You know what this is, and I don't. That's not fair.
1, 2, 3. We're just going to keep chewing it.
I'm so unhappy right now.
I have a hair.
What the?
Think of the potato chips.
Beer?
Beer.
I actually was thinking that.
Yeah. Joey, would
The
you like
potato chips tasted more like beer.
this? Here you go. You get 2. Okay. Joey has peeked her head out from behind the curtain. But that, when you
That's the hops, Joey. It's
Now-
sparkly because of the hops.
now there's a beer aftertaste in my mouth.
Draft? Why? Why would people do this? I don't get it. 150 calories for one of these things. Well, not one bean, but the whole package. Joey, what do you think? We've lost Joey.
I hate jelly beans.
Okay,
Same.
Joey. Okay, we got 2
Did you
jelly
try
bean
it?
haters.
And? Yuck.
Bubble gum.
Yeah. Beeswax.
Yeah. Mind your own. There, that's my gift to you. You can put it on your.
Why does it taste like bubble gum?
I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a jelly bean person by any means. Dots, hate dots. Anything that involves it on your teeth for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah,
is-
but do you not like Sour Patch Kids? Those are so good.
okay.
And Swedish Fish.
I-
that kind of sticks to your teeth.
I had a girlfriend who went to University of St. Thomas, and she worked in student services, and they got what do you call them? Movie coupons. You could buy them for discounts, and then
You
go
sound like your back just went out.
to the it did just talking. So, and they were supposed to have 50 movie things to sell to kids, and they had 52. So we got a book of 100 free movies. So that summer, we saw pretty much everything that was in the theaters.
Okay.
And it was a summer of Mountain Dew and Sour Patch Kids. The two of them together are really well.
That sounds very...
And to this day, I still know, welcome to General Cinema, where we bring you the finest in motion picture entertainment. We appreciate you choosing our theater. To make this experience more enjoyable for everyone, we ask that you please refrain from talking during the show. Enjoy the movie. Thank you.
That just proves how old you are.
Yeah.
That they don't
There's
talk
no
about
cell
turning off your
phones.
cell phones. They just say, don't talk.
Just, hey, do me a favor. Shut the
Done.
Just to recap, and I want to add one more thing. Network.
Yeah.
Be friendly.
Yeah.
You can't get anywhere on talent alone. And I've also
Be
learned...
different, too.
Be different.
Bring something different to the table.
Also...
I'm on a twins panel tonight for internships.
The one thing I've noticed, either from my friends or myself, is be as nice to the people that you want to impress as those that you think are, I don't want to say beneath you, but are trying to impress you, because at some point in life, they might
They're
be
going to be changing
someplace...
your depends.
Yeah, they're going to be changing your depends. No, just, be helpful. That's the big thing.
I like that. That goes along with my tattoo, Josh.
Be...
No.
Yeah, don't drink Fruit Works in the middle of
I still taste
the
that.
summer. Yeah, it's stuck in my teeth
I know.
right here.
Good stuff.
Right here. All right. My name is Joshua Will, and I am the entertainment director here for the St. Paul Saints. Next to me is
Keep going.
Sierra Bailey, director of marketing and promotions.
Do you think my name is hard to say?
Sierra Bailey?
Like, not the Bailey.
Sierra.
I've always like in high school I was called C, because like Sierra is like
See?
not like if you're gassed on a basketball court. But like even when I say my name, I think it's just difficult.
People ask me, like, do you
I
want to be
don't
called
know.
Josh or Joshua? And I don't like being called Joshua, because people say it differently. It could be Joshua. Joshua. Josh. So I say Josh.
Yeah.
But when I write it, it's Joshua. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think it looks nice written. Plus, Josh Will just sounds like a, coming up next on stage is
Very
Josh
blunt.
Will. Yeah, it's just, yeah. Here's a guy who thinks he's funny.
Like truthfully, I love my name, but I just Sierra. It doesn't like. There's like something that happens in the back of your throat when you do it. Yeah.
Sierra.
I don't know. It's not like something like Joey rolls off your just
Yeah,
so
Joey.
easy and normal.
Well, the other thing is, like, for my name, we're going to turn this always back to me. You can't make my name...
It's your episode. Have a day, Josh.
Have
Will.
a day, Josh Will.
Have a
you
day.
You can't make my name plural.
Joshua's.
Josh's.
Josh's.
Who's that? Josh's. Something you put on your feet when it's raining.
I just like to switch the first letter of both your names, so then you're Wash Jill.
Wash Jill. Hey, if you like what you've heard today, why not subscribe?
If you are trying to get a job in any of these industries, you might as well reach out to Wash Jill.
They all have.
Because he's networked there, and he could probably get you a gig, except for at the McDonald's that he closed down because he ate all of the
burgers. Expired food. I've burnt just as many bridges as I've crossed. That's another episode.
I think we should just end on that.
Subscribe, like, share, comment.
What else can he do? Double click.
At Funny in Theory.
Tag us. I don't know. What else can you do with this? Listen.
You can watch. Put us on in the background if you can't get a Vikings
Call
game.
in.
The college.
We should.
Just sit here and look at the whole time.
Well, Josh, you're leaving for Scotland, so enjoy your time.
Thank you.
If I do a podcast, I'll just have a guest speaker on. I don't know who yet. If you want to be on this podcast when Josh is gone,
I'll just call in with that British phone.
You should. We should call you in. Well, what's the time difference?
6 hours.
Perfect. Great.
I do have a bit that I'm going to film over there for Saints Live next year. That way I can also write this off as a work trip.
That's so smart. Bring me with you.
Yeah.
Can Tater come?
Container? Okay.
Okay, bye.
It's not strange, both things are rearranged. No one to blame. It's all for the fun of the game.